All right, now let's talk some more about Taylor Schabusiness, shall we? We're bringing in the body language experts today. Joining me this morning in Los Angeles, she's also a forensic psychiatrist in addition to being a body language expert. Dr. Carole Lieberman is on the show. And in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I want to welcome in body language expert and senior instructor at the Body Language Institute, Rodney Smith. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being on the program. I want to start with you both on what was kind of the moment of the day that everybody on Twitter was assessing throughout the day, the video being shared again and again. Taylor Schabusiness making a motion outside the presence of the jury. This was during some arguments just before the judge, but to many it looked like a finger gun. I want to play that clip for you both and see what you think and what she might have been thinking making this motion. There it was. There, we'll play it again. Listening to the judge speak. And there it was. Ladies first. Dr. Carole, what do you say, please?
Well, first of all, you know, she is showing she'd like to shoot him. You know, she doesn't like what he's saying. She doesn't like how it's going. But, you know, it seems to me, and I've watched a fair amount of the trial, that she really seems like she's responding to internal stimuli, as it's called. In other words, that she's hallucinating. She might be hearing something, seeing something, and I mean, she pled not guilty by reason of insanity, and some of her movements really seem like she is responding to something that's going on in her head, not something real.
Yeah, you wonder if she's hearing something in her head that was making her do that, or mad at the judge. I was saying, you know, that's something that could have her held in contempt. That's very serious if it was conveying a threat. I want to show you both another clip. Taylor Schabusiness is known for making lots of faces. We say she's kind of famous for that side eye. She tends to see where the camera is and look toward the camera, sometimes some smirking. And of course, we're all wondering what in the world is going on in this woman's head. Dr. Carole, you are a psychiatrist. We know you have not evaluated her how we wish you could do that, so we could really get the inside scoop. But give us your best educated assessment based on the facts that we know, the allegations here. What, if anything, may be going on with her in terms of a mental health difficulty?
Having mental health difficulties. You know, the question is, they were trying to talk about did she, because she willfully took methamphetamine, you know, that shouldn't be an excuse, kind of thing. But I think clearly, you know, and there was a question of whether she was competent to stand trial. The first psychologist said that she was not, and then they got another one who said that she was. And, you know, from the way that she's been acting, it seems like, you know, as I was saying, internal stimuli, possibly hearing voices, seeing things. I really question whether she is competent to stand trial. I don't think that she would be doing these things on purpose. You know, I think that she's aware enough to know that these kinds of expressions and so on would not do well for her.
Thank you, Dr. Carole. I've got a clip I want to play, please. This was some testimony from Ava Wheelock. She is Shad Therian's sister. So Shad Therian is the victim in this case who died such a brutal death. His body disrespected in every way it possibly could be by way of sexual assault, allegedly, with Taylor Schabusiness, and then dismemberment. And here, pay close attention, please, to Taylor Schabusiness's reaction as she's hearing the testimony of her lover's sister.
What did you hear?
I just heard footsteps downstairs.
When you say downstairs, are you talking about the stairs from the second floor to the first floor, or the stairs from the basement up to the first floor?
The basement up to the first floor.
Is that something that you heard frequently throughout that day?
Yes.
How about people's voices? Did you hear any people's voices on the night of the 22nd to the 23rd?
I heard a female voice.
Did you know who it was?
No.
Did you ever see a female in the residence on that date, the 22nd or the 23rd?
No.
So, Dr. Carole, I hope you don't mind if I put you on the spot with that clip. I know you were
Sure.
watching and paying attention. What did it say to you, please?
Well, you know, first she made a movement where she was sort of lifting her chest, you know, sticking out her chest, like kind of like daring the sister to say something that would be negative about her. What are you going to say about me, kind of thing, and looking very intently and so on. I just wonder. I have a case currently, that I'm an expert on, where it's an appeal of a man who killed someone and who did not get a chance to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. Anyway, he never had a forensic psychiatrist be his expert and testify for him, and that's the basis of the appeal. And so I'm just wondering whether she has enough. Whether she has one, not just for competency, but whether there's going to be someone coming in and speaking for her, because they were talking about having a pharmacist come in. There's this issue of whether she was taking her medication or not. But, methamphetamine can obviously cause psychosis in itself for the time being. But if that is on top of a psychosis like schizophrenia or bipolar, then the psychosis is even greater.
Sure.
So I'm just wondering whether she really, has someone who's going to be able to explain that to the jury.
That's a great question, Dr. Carole, and she should. Legally, she should. And what we were wondering yesterday, we got kind of a hint at it from her attorney, is that she may have been using methamphetamine over a long period of time, which affects the brain. Am I right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So someone should be able to testify to that.
Yes. In fact, and that's like with my case too. In fact, they should have had a psychiatrist and a neurologist to talk about the issue. Like in this case, the man had a lot of brain injuries, not from drugs, but from abuse when he was a child. So yes, the defendants need that, really.
Oh, definitely. She is entitled to that under the laws, as you know. So according to investigators and Jennifer Faith, she was in on it. She's pleaded. She's cooperating. It's our understanding she's going to be giving testimony in this case. Most likely we'll see that today. And yet she acts horrified, screaming when her husband is shot 7 times, injuries to his head, his chest, his groin, which the defense says the shot to the groin was because Darren Lopez, their client, believed that Jennifer Faith was being sexually abused by her husband. But we hear the terror in her voice. What does that say if she orchestrated this? Investigators put into evidence between June of 2020 and January 2021, over 2,000 phone calls, around 268,000 text messages, 10,000 different multimedia messages between Jennifer Faith and her co-defendant, Darren Lopez, this emotional affair that was going on. Let me bring in our body language experts to react to hearing those screams and what might have happened on the street that day where she's taking her husband out for a walk, but turns out it was a setup. Dr. Carole, the screams sound very real. Talk to us about that. Is it possible that even if she was behind this, that she was traumatized and was frightened seeing it actually happen?
It's possible that it was probably all fun and games when they were planning it, and yet maybe she. On the other hand, an overreaction kept on going, and it was an interesting thing that she said. No one came. What an interesting first comment. It seems like she was screaming and screaming, to try to get someone to come and to get attention or to get help. I mean, her husband was dead. It wasn't really going to help. Maybe she was hoping someone would call 911 before and get some help for him. But it just seemed like a very like an overreaction to it. And yes, I'm screaming like this and no one's coming. What's wrong with my neighbors?
Right. Yeah. It's very bizarre to me. And here he is sitting there at trial, not exhibiting much emotion. To me, the evidence is really stacked up badly against this guy. Big thanks to Dr. Carole Lieberman as well. One of our favorites. Always great to see you too, Dr. Carole. Thank you both kindly.
Thank you.